morning. Hello, and welcome to Beema's Crafty Corner. I am Beema, better known as Els, and this is week 6. Well, 8 or 9, really, but week 6 of our Build a Journal 101. And today, we're going to say hi to Harry. Hi. Hello. How are you? Brat. All righty. Hi. Can I help you? Can I help you? You let me lay here and talk to me. You talk to nobody. Hi. Hi, Churd. What you doing? It's Chatter's choice. Okay. Hello, Vanessa. Hello, Miss Marjorie. Hello, Miss Patty. And what are we having? You're making me food? What are you making me? What's it going to be? Hi. No, you can't have my Excedrin. Oh, my God. I know. You eat everything I eat, but you can't have my medicines. Carla! Good morning, Miss Margaret. Okay, I'll get you some too. Here you go. There you go. Okay. All right. So just this is totally off subject, but just a heads up. There is a new TikTok thing where apparently it's been causing some issues. And everything salad? I don't know if I want to eat that. Lettuce is bad for you right now. Okay, come on, get down. Come on, here's a knee. Look, there's a knee. Get down. Use it. Thank you. Okay. So there's a new TikTok thing going around. So if you go into a drive-through at a fast food restaurant and somebody, and it has to be one of those 2 lanes into one thing, and you're in there and you order your food, and this person is not supposed to be the next person, and they cut you off, like the other person is just cut you off, and they're not supposed to be next. They're taking your food. So, because most drive-throughs, you have 2 lanes that go through, and then they merge together, and then you stop and you pay, and then you go pick up your food. So what they're doing is they're getting in the line ahead of you, and they have not ordered anything. They kind of bypass the window. They wait to move until the car that's at the window has moved up to the pickup, and then they kind of drive through real quick, and you pull up behind them thinking, okay, I'm going to pay for my food. And you get up there and you pay for your food, and then they go to the front, and the person who passes out the food leans out the window and does what they always do. And they go, hey, Joe. And they go, yeah. And they go, all right, here's your food. And they give them your food, and the guy drives away. Now, you paid for it. It's your food. You paid for it, but they took it and left. So if somebody cuts you off in the drive-through lane, be aware that's what they're doing. Yes, ass hattery is happening. Okay. So today we're going to be stitching our signatures in. But I don't want to just jump into this. So I told everybody, get some scrap paper out because we're going to practice this. Because it's not just boom, 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 there you go. Okay? I know. They should worry that I ordered some weird shit. And I've had some pretty weird orders doing DoorDash, let me tell you. All right. So let me grab a needle and some thread. Needle, 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 needle. That's not going to be enough thread. I want to use something obnoxiously atrocious anyway. So we're going to use this orange. Because that's pretty obnoxious and y'all can see it. And a little fat needle. Okay, so let me grab my thing here. When we built our cover, where is it? It's in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. So when we built our cover, we also made the template for our, let's put back in the bag. We also built our template for our spine. So we folded our paper in half. This is the same size as our spine. Then we folded down about an inch on both sides. Then we folded that into the center, and that gave us 5 lines across. Then we went down our width, and we kind of put 2 parallel lines down it, and these are where our holes go, okay? So today we're going to kind of do that, but not do that. So all we're going to do is fold this like we folded our template, whatever size, scrap paper you have. This is going to give you extra practice on folding your templates, but you're just going to fold it in half, fold a portion down on both sides, and then fold that in, okay? The idea here is we just want to give ourselves our points of where we're going to be poking our holes. Okay, now I'm going to get a white pen because for whatever reason I decided to use a black piece of paper here. Not my smartest day. Okay. So we're going to say that we have a template and this is our spine. And our template is here and we're going to be poking some holes. So whatever you use to poke your holes, styrofoam, a book, a roll of toilet paper, I don't care, whatever it is. You're going to go onto your template and you're going to poke your holes. So I want you to have something that has all 5 holes in it. Okay. And then you're going to get out your thread. Now, most people say you go 1, 2, 3. I just say take some thread. Okay. Take what looks to be at least twice the distance of your spine and then some. This is cheap. Okay. And this is a little bit different to do a 5-hole, but it's the same procedure for a 7-hole, a 9-hole, an 11-hole. You can put as many holes as you want in your spine. Okay. I wouldn't get stupid. I wouldn't put like 11 holes in 6 inches. I just no, don't do that. But this is my spine. And we're going to say that I have my paper on here, my signatures, and I'm going to sew through. But right now, I just want to show you guys the pattern. So you can start in any hole that you want. It's just where your thread's going to end up. Typically, we start on the inside and not the outside, okay? But we're going to go down through a hole. That's 1. Then we're going to come up through the next available hole one way or the other. It doesn't matter. You can go up or down. And then down through the next available hole. So that you should have 1 stitch on the outside, 1 stitch on the inside. And then you're going to come back through that hole. So you're going to go through the next hole. So we're just going to come back. All right. Back through there and then right back through the center again. Now I'm going to show you something. So if you do this, you end up with a figure 8. Hi, Marie. Are you feeling better today, honey? Okay. We have gone in and up and back and through. That's 1/2, and it's a figure 8. That's all it is. Okay. So then, now that we've come out here, we're going to go back in through the next available hole. We're going to go the other way. So we're going to come through here. We're going to go up to the next open hole and come through. And then back down through the hole that we came through before. And that's it. Okay. So you'll see you have a figure 8 and a figure 8. Okay. This thread gets wrapped around these. So we'll get to that. So you want these to be good. You want these to be as, tight as you don't want them too tight that they're tearing things, but you do want them tight enough that you're not losing, pages aren't falling out. So let's pull this through. All right. So now you have 4 stitches on the outside and you have 3 stitches on the inside. Then you would take your thread and go underneath this stitch. And now you're not pulling the string against the book. You're pulling the strings against the strings. Okay? So So in through one, come up in the next available hole. Whether you go up or down, it doesn't matter. So at this point, you're going to be doing, you know, one of those sewing stitches you did when you were a little kid where you just went in and out and in and out. That's what you're doing. Okay. Then when you come back, you just want to go in the hole, whatever hole is there, but the first hole you see, even if it's already got a thread through it, and then come back. Now you've created the first stitch. Then come down and go through this one. And you've created your second stitch. Okay. So in here, came out here, goes in there, comes back down here, comes out here and goes back down. And now you're at the middle. Then do the same thing again, repeated. Come down to the next one. Back through. And then back up through whatever the hole is, the next one in the line. Okay. You've created 4 on the outside, 3 on the inside. If you're stitching from the inside to the outside, and then just go under your threads and make sure that you go under both of them. You see my needle is under both threads, both my stitch and my tail. Pull it through. And now I'm pulling string against string to tighten. I'm not pulling on the paper. Okay. Hi, Christine. All right. So I want you all to try it. Give yourself, 5 holes in your test paper and start stitching just to get used to the idea of it. Okay. So do that a couple of times. And while you're doing that, I'm going to show you this, but pay no real attention to it. But I have people that go all the time and they go, what if I started in the wrong hole? It's okay. Watch. I'm going to go here. I'm going to come up here. I'll go back down through this one. And up through this one. And down through this one. And back up through here. And then I'm just going to run back up to the top. I still have 4 stitches on both sides. Okay. Now, this technique works for, let's say you wanted to use your strings sort of as a tassel, like on the outside, like you want to put some beads or something on here. If you start at the top on the outside, we'll start on the outside and come in, you can do the same thing and just go all the way down, in and out, every other hole, every hole, in and out, in and out, in and out. Get to the bottom. Come up. So once you get used to this rhythm of every other hole, every hole going in and up and down, this will become second nature to you. And that's kind of why I want you to practice it. So now I'm up here, but here's my problem. I started at the top, and so I cannot. So in order to tighten my strings, I'm just going to wrap one around the other and then just tie it like I normally would. Okay. Right over left, left over right, simple square knot. But that would then leave these at the top of my journal, and I can use them to string things if I wanted to put like some beads or something on. Okay. Now, if you get really good at this, and you will, 2 or 3 journals in, you guys have seen me on the struggle bus. I have made hundreds of journals, and I still struggle with this from time to time because sometimes the pages get out of alignment. That's okay. So if I want to do something creative and I want to add beads to it on the outside, it's very easy. Just make sure that you have a needle that will go through the beads. All right. I don't have a needle that will go through the seed beads, but that's what I have is seed beads. I haven't pulled any other beads out. Hold on. I was about to have a craft lunch. So if I want to put beads on this, whatever beads I want to use, these will show up. I would just feed them right onto my cord here. Yesterday I had 3 beads and they worked just fine. Maybe I should cut this at an angle, huh? What did we put on here yesterday? Oh, these. Okay. Well, let's try these. You're not going to see those. They're black. Hold on. I'm trying to pick a color that you guys will be able to see. That I can fit through here. Because usually I would use bigger beads. But I pulled out a tray of seed beads. Okay, pulling out the seed beads was not my smartest thing. Never fear. I do have 2 big glass work beads in here. So if you want to add beads to this, you would just thread them onto the string. Okay. Now I'm going to put my needle back on because obviously I only need to put 1 bead on here, right? So once you string on however many beads you're going to put, then you just come through and make your stitch. Come here, your next stitch. Now I'm going to put beads on again. I would put more beads on, come back down through the hole. Back up this side. And you have added beads to your spine, okay? You don't have to add beads, but a lot of people like to add them, so that's how you do it. You just put it on the string while you're stitching it on, okay? All righty. All right, so I'm going to do this one more time. I'm telling you, if you sit and do this and practice it just like this, like where you're practicing it with something that doesn't really matter, eventually it becomes a muscle memory. All right, so down through the inside, and the side with the lines is our inside. We're going to go down through the center hole or whatever hole you want to. I recommend the center one. Then we're going to hold that. Normally, I would say this is the point where you put some kind of a clip or something on it so that it doesn't go through. Okay. Tie a small knot if you can. And then this is the outside of our book. We're going to come up. We're going to go back down. Always just going in the next hole, whatever hole there is. Now we came out of this one, so this is the next obvious hole. We're going to go back through. And then the first hole, we're going back down through it. Okay. And then the same thing on the other side. We're just creating 2 figure 8s, one top, one bottom. Come up through the next hole, back down through this hole, and stop. Because we don't want our strings one on the inside, one on the outside. We want them both either on the outside or the inside, wherever we started, okay? And then you go under this first stitch, under your tail string, okay? Pull your thread. Now, this can be very tricky. This is where people accidentally stab their pages in their signature. It's okay. Just work your needle around until you can get it. You might have to come like this and go very shallow to your threads. Take off your clamp and now pull these against each other. All right. That's going to tighten up all your stitching, and then you can tie your knot. All right. And then you can take this out 40 times. I take it out a lot. All right. So now that we have the basics of the stitch. Hi, Chris. Our next step is going to actually be poking holes in our signature. Don't freak out on me, guys, please. This is where I lose people. Let's not get lost in the terror. Okay. I have my signature A. This is signature B. I always say put in the back signature first. Where's my, there it is. I was like, where's my build? Here it is. So we're going to need a few things for this portion. Your signatures, something to poke into, whatever you use to poke your holes. Now, here's one. I'm going to tell you this. If you don't have one of these and you want to poke a hole, go out to your husband's toolbox. Somewhere in there, he has one of these. For poking holes. Okay, he's got one of these, probably 2 or 3 of them. If he's ever done wood projects, he's got one, and this will work just the same. Okay, if you have an ice pick, that works as well. Even just using a big needle, slightly larger than the one you're planning on putting your stitches in with, will work. Okay. So something to poke into, something to poke with, your template that's going to tell us where to poke, your journal cover, and your signatures. Okay? All right. So there's a couple of things here to look for. One, if I poke from the inside out, I'm going to have what's called eruptions on the outside. Carrie's been playing on this. And an eruption is just where, everything pops out. Okay, the best way to explain it is when you shoot a bullet and you shoot it into something, this is a hole. The back end of it looks like this. So that's what happens when you do this. You look at your template, you're going to see the side that we poked our holes on is very clean, and the other side has these like icky looking spots. Do you see those? Let's see if we can get those a little bit more focused. Do you see how jagged that looks? Then there's this side. See how clean that is? So you have to decide. If you don't care about that, just put it in there. If you care about it, You're going to put this on the other side, reverse your alphabet, turn it over and reverse your alphabet. So this is my top. This is B and this is A. It's going to be very important later on. Yes, they feel like Braille. So when you run your finger down this side, you're going to feel the bump. And when you go this side, you're not going to feel it. It's going to be very smooth, no anything. So if you want the outside of your journal to be smooth, you're going to turn this over. Okay? And reverse your alphabet. A, B, B, A. Okay? That's the trick. Then you're going to turn your journal over. Make sure you have the top where your top is. And you're going to make sure that this is on here even and straight. Use your ruler if you have to. Take a look at your indents on either side. Make sure that you have it evenly placed between those and that it is straight. Okay? Once you have it on there straight, then you're going to put it on your plunging mat, your pokey board, whatever you're calling it, okay? You guys have heard me say this a lot, and I'm going to say it again. Be brave, ladies. Find your hole. Take your awl. Put it in there. You want to go as straight up and down as you possibly can. Don't do it like an angle like this. You want it up and down. Put in your holes. Just do it. Just do it. It's going to take a little arm strength, but you can do this, okay? Remember, you're going through 2 pieces of cardboard, or at least 1 piece of cardboard, 2 sheets of Tyvek, 2 layers of book cloth with the adhesive and everything else. There's a lot to push through here. If you have to move your poke board, move your poke board. Everybody always asks me where I got this. This is from the Dollar Tree. And it was one of those, where you can put the letters on it. It had a frame on it and everything. And I just took the frame off of it because it's a good piece of foam for doing this. Okay. So now I've done that part. This is now marked. If I take these off, I have little holes on this side. And there's those eruptions. Do you see how they push out? Those are the eruptions. And if you look at the other side, you'll see they're flush. There's the eruption. Those are flush. Damn, Harry, you got all over this thing. Okay. Top, bottom. I'm going to mark my top. I don't want to lose my top. Another way to know is this right here. Okay. If you've wrapped this completely around, then when you put this on here and you put in your, holes, this is probably going up. Okay. All right. So now we've done that. We're going to get rid of our cover. I'm going to mark the top. This is my top. I'm going to get this out of my way. Yeah, you could do if you've got even just fabric, guys. But I found that books work really well because you can just poke right into the center of the pages when you open them up. You can do that. All right, so here we go. We're going to start with B. Why? Because I like to work from the back to the front. This signature has not been touched. This one is done. So this is where we're going to talk about the difference between doing it outside of the journal or inside of the journal. So this is my signature. I'm going to use both of my clips for this. So I'm going to take my clip off of this one because I need 2 clips. I'm going to get this signature out of the way. Now what I'm looking to do here is make sure that I have pages where I want them. This is all the way at the top. This one, which is like a pocket, I put all the way at the bottom. Everything else looks pretty reasonable. I only need to go to the middle. All right, everything looks pretty good. Now, I'm going to put my clips on my signature. I like to work one top, one bottom. You figure out how it works best for you. Okay, whatever kind of clips you want to use. And then I'm going to keep this as folded as possible. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to find the front of this, which is this side that has the lines all drawn. And I am going to fold it on this line. Now, if you need to use your scoreboard, use your scoreboard. If you need to use a ruler, use a ruler. Put it down, get your ruler, put your ruler there. Give it a little bit of an indent. Okay, I'm going to use this because it's smaller. Between all the holes. Okay, because we want to be able to fold this right along that line. Okay, use your scissors or your nail or whatever. Give it a nice crease. That is going to go in here. So making sure that your top is at the top. So you want to make sure that if you're doing it with this, this is your top. You want to make sure that the top's at the top. Okay. Put this in. Get your pages all lined up. And now, see how this sticks out? We're going to make it kind of like that we've got the same amount on both sides. This is important. We're going to put a line here and a line up here. And then we're going to turn the whole thing over and do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Because now when we open this up and we fold it, when we put it back in, excuse me, it's going to be, our pages aren't going to be, you know, cattywampus. They're going to be perfectly lined up. And that's what we want. Okay, so whatever clips you want to use, you can use these. You can use these giant butterfly clips. I think these are the ones that I sent you guys, but the smaller version. You can use these. I use these hem clips often. Bulldog clips. Whatever kind of clip works for you, use it. You guys see me use these all the time. I don't have any of these in the shop, but I do usually carry them in the shop, but I don't have any right now. I think you get 6 or 8 in a package, something like that. All right, so now that I have this, I'm going to bring back my pokey board, and I'm going to poke the holes. I always say keep this as folded as possible when you're doing this. That's why they create cradles for this. But I'm going to come in as straight up and down as I can, going through the exact same holes that I've already poked. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you why I say keep this as flat as you can. See how nice and complete that is? Now, watch what happens when I open it. See the pages shift? We don't want our pages to shift. So this one is done. We can now put this into our journal cover. So get your journal cover out. You know this is the B because that's your top and this is the back. Okay. Do not take your clips off. Do not. I'm going to get the right color thread here for this. I think I'm going to use this one. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Let's use blue. I don't know. I don't know what color I'm going to use here. Ooh, what is that? Oh, I have gray. And I think I have enough to do 2 signatures, so we'll do that. We're going to use a gray. If I don't, I'll pull it out, put it back later. All right. Now I'm going to get out the needle that I use, which is a doll needle. It's a very long, thin needle. Still has a decent sized eye on it, but it's not ridiculous. All right, thread. This is all I have, so I'm just going to cut it in half and use 1/2 of it. This will work. This will work. I know it will. There we go. Piece over there. Oh, yeah, it's a good color. Okay. I could use green, too. All right, so I'm going to thread my needle. I have my clip. I'm going to keep one handy. And I'm going to open this. I'm not going to fully open it. I'm going to go right through the center. Okay? Right through the center. And I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to find the center hole here and go through it. Okay? God, I haven't done a journal this way in a while. Now, I'm going to take about 4 or 5 inches of this, put the clip on it. You guys often see me do this with forceps. I do it with forceps too, where I'll wrap it around the forceps. Whatever works for you, okay? I'm doing this one with what most people already have. So, pulling that through till it gets snug. And then we're just going to continue with our figure 8, okay? So, up to the next hole and into our signature. Hold on. It wasn't folded enough and I missed a page. I'm telling you guys, this is not easy. Anybody who tells you it's easy is lying. I got one page in here that doesn't want to line up. There we go. Whew. Once you get a few signature, a few stitches in, it straighten its ass up. Right there. Down. Out. Now, I'm going to come back through this one, the one that just gave me all that grief. Right through. And now's when I can take this clip off, pull that out of my way, and go back. Okay. And then I'm just going to continue down. This is so weird to me because I usually don't stitch these in without, decorations. This is very thin and it feels very weird. That's okay. And then down through the last one. Fold it up to get all the lines together. Get all the paper lined up. And through the hole. Now here's a cheat. If you can't find the hole, get a light like this and hold it up. And you'll be able to see the light coming through so you know where it is. This is especially helpful when you have things like lace on your cover, because there's so many holes in the lace, you really can't tell where your holes are. But it works. And there we go. All right, so now I've put all my stitches in and I'm at that point. Now, if this was decorated, and you'll see when we put the other signature in, this would be more like this. It would be a pain in the butt, but this one's not. So I am going under the stitch, behind my thread, and I'm going to go ahead and pull, and I'm going to pull these against each other. I'm not just pulling on the book. I'm pulling these strings against each other. Right over left, left over right. And then I'm snipping these as long as they're short as I want them. Okay. Now I can take off my clips, because now I have a signature in the journal. Okay. Okay, so okay, and this is, again, guys, this is only my personal opinion, and this is how I do this. I started using a 5-hole many years ago, and when I came on the internet, I heard everybody was like, "I'll use a 3-hole pamphlet stitch," and I was like, "Are you freaking joking me?" And I'll tell you why. In this signature, we have one short piece of paper. If I put this in a 3-hole, I would have 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes. Maybe I would get 2 stitch. It would be like basically 1 stitch that would be holding this in. But since I did a 5, I have 1, 2, all 3 stitches holding this piece in. This isn't going anywhere. It is stable. And I would encourage you, somebody that we all know, and I'm not going to give you the name, but somebody that we all know made their first journal, oh God, 6, maybe 7 years ago. She was very proud of it. And it was beautiful. Oh my God, was it gorgeous? It was gorgeous. And she did it for a swap. It was, I think, 2 signatures, not very big, and it wasn't very bulky, but it was her very first journal she'd ever made. She did it for a swap, and she sent it to the person that she was swapping it with. They sent her a journal, and the journal they sent her was gorgeous. Her journal fell apart when it was taken out of the packaging. She was so embarrassed. She has since switched up to a 5-hole. So I will tell you that using a 3-hole, that's okay for small things. Based on size, if your book's only like 4 or 5 inches tall, you might get away with a 3-hole. I use a 3-hole all the time for notepads, for little notebooks, but never for something that I'm going to put this much weight on and pray that it sustains the stitching. Never. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Normally for something like this, if it was going to be thicker, if this ended up being like another 1/2 inch wide, I probably would have gone to 7 or 9 holes for this. Always odd numbers, but I would have gone probably 7 or 9 if this spine had been any wider. Okay. So just my personal, these are my babies. I love them, each and every one of them. And yes, I create them with somebody else in mind, but like this is a Peter Rabbit journal. So what am I thinking? I'm thinking this is probably going to be a new mom who's journaling through her pregnancy, through the first year or so of her baby's life. And this is going to become a family heirloom. It's going to be something that's passed down. This baby's going to find this when mommy's gone, and grown. And I don't want them to take it out and have it all fall out. I don't want it to tear easily. I want this to be here for 20 years. So, personal opinion, I always use at minimum a 5 hole. Okay? That's my personal opinion. Other people may say, that's ridiculous. You don't need that many. Well, you know what? Maybe you don't, girlfriend, but I do. I need to have that security, both in my own stuff and in the stuff that I am selling or giving away. Okay? That's just me. You do you, boo. All right. So now I'm going to go on to the other one. And again, I'm on the right side. I'm going to use my ruler just to give me a guide here for folding this. I don't even have to score it, to be honest with you. You could just put your ruler on it like this and just fold it up. Press it up against your ruler. There you go. Okay. Now, I want you to see what happens with those lines. Watch. So over here, we had the line, remember? And we drew that line on the ends. Now we're going to fold the other half over. Look at that. The line's on the other side. Yeah, so for me, I just say, do what works for you, but keep in mind what it is. Okay. Marjorie makes a monthly journal. She makes a journal every month, and it's just for her to keep her appointments straight and her memories together. And she's really the only person that uses it. And if that is the case, then using a 3-hole would be fine. Now, if you're totally loading it up, it's full of ephemera, it's full of pockets, it's full of journal cards and tags, and it's got floofies on the top, and you're going to be putting a big chunky dangle on it. You want that sucker to last. You did not cheap out on any of this. You did not use glue stick. You didn't use self-adhesive book cloth. You took the time to very carefully and very lovingly put this book together, one piece at a time. Even every one of your little pieces of ephemera and the washi tape placement, you glued it all down, even though it's tape, but you glued it because you want it to be there. Should you cheap out in the end? That's the question for you. All right, this is signature A, and we're going to go and use this top, put it in to the center here, which I'm trying to find. There it is. I'm going to drop that in, and then I'm going to line up my lines on my piece, and I'm going to clip these. I should really see if I can order a bunch of these in for the shop. Because to be honest, I think these are probably the best ones that I've used. Okay, here we go. One here. And I'm going to put one back over here. Careful, 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 because I don't want to screw anything up, There we go. Okay. We're putting this in. I'm lining up that line. top and bottom. And now I'm going to poke my holes, not on my journal. So I would just say, you know, do what works for you, but keep in mind that if it's something that you want to have around for a long time, I would use as many holes as I thought secured it, remembering that each hole puts just one more stitch into holding everything together. And if you have a lot of short pages, you know, where like half pages and things like that, it's probably best to have as much string holding it as possible. Okay. That's it. I'm off my soapbox. I promise. All right. So now I have this. If I've already stitched the first one at the beginning and the middle, that's where I'm going to start on this one. I went up with that one. I'm going to go down with this one. So in, hole. There. Clip. Catch it, catch it. Okay. It tried to take it with it. There we go. All righty. So I'm going to go down on this one. Down with this one. Sorry about that. That was rude. Down. All right, back. Now, normally you would take anything out of this signature that would possibly get in your way. I don't really think I have anything in here that would do that, so I'm not real worried about it. But normally you would, you know, objectively look for those things. Nice and tight. Back through the hole. Get rid of that. Bring that down. I looked at this and thought I put it in upside down. I was like, wait a minute. No, okay, everything else is going in the right direction. Try not to stitch through your string if you can, and you'll know if you do. Just back out and go at it again. Because if you stitch through your thread, you probably won't be able to tighten it properly. Through. Up. Down through there. Come on. Yeah. And back through here. Does not want to go through. Sometimes you just got to play with it a little bit. You know? Let me get here. It's trying to go in front of the signature instead of through the hole. Okay. Through there. And oh, it's being very difficult. It's my last stitch. Okay. Now, this one, you see it comes up a little bit more. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it rises a little bit more than this one did because this has stuff in it. So when I put this under, I'm just going to put these together and just push it straight towards the bottom and then pull it together. And I want to make sure that it's not bubbling on the outside. And then right over left, left over right. Why do I use the waxed thread? This right here. That creates heat. That pulling action, it creates heat and it helps to melt the wax that's on the thread. And then when the thread cools, the wax encases the knot. It's another thing that helps to keep it, you know. Now I'm going to very carefully take these off. And I now have 2 signatures sewn in to this journal. And this journal's only half completed because I only did 1 signature. But as you can see, I now have my signatures sewn in. Okay. This one's done. This one I completed, which you should have completed yours first one by now. So now we're going to move on to the B. Do we need to have these on here anymore? No. You can take those off, guys. Now you know where they are. Use them for something else, throw them in the trash, whatever you want to do. All right, so now we're going to talk about decorating a signature that's already in the book. There's some different complications for this. First off, whatever's in here now, you're committed to. These are your pages. You have to be really careful about this edge right here, because anything that you put in here, if it gets too close, if you put something like this on this page and it comes over or too far, when you fold this page, it's going to affect it. So you have to be careful. Everything now has to be moved about 1/8 of an inch towards the outside. I know, it's the last holes. They always get me. I don't know why. But because of the marking that we put on the ends, if you look at our signatures, they line up. They line up. They're not one up here and one down here. These are lined up. Now, we did leave kind of a rather large space in the center here, which you can use to put in if you want to add in like, oh, I don't know, a folio maybe that comes out of the book. You could do that. You can run a elastic from here to here, tie it in the center. You could have a folio that goes in there. That's a whole different thing. You can find plenty of videos of me doing that and making different folios to put in here. You, of course, can decorate the front and the back. You figure out what you're going to do for your closure. Again, keep in mind that if you have these things in here, a closure that comes around is not always the best choice. Sometimes you want to go with something that's a little less, you know. Why is that loose? Hold on. It's a little loose. It's okay. We'll tighten it up. So now there's a couple of other things that you can do. If you want to put a dangle on here, you could certainly, if you have a pair of, you know, heavy duty hole punches, you could put a hole punch through here and then put an eyelet in, and then you'd be able to hang a dangle or something off of this. You could use, by all means, use the clips that I use them all the time. Those little clips. don't know what the hell they're called, but I guess Tim Holtz put them out a while ago. I bought mine from Chimu, I think. But you could use your clip to put a clip dangle on here. However you want to do it. Keep in mind, this is your front cover, so this is the cover you're going to want to decorate. But now we have our centerpiece, and now we're going to start. This is a whole different journal. This was one type of journal. This is a whole different journal. So we're going to start decorating this part. So I'm going to use all the same decorations that I had from, for the other half. I'm just going to be putting them in here in a little bit of a different way. Again, this is a personal preference. If you do this and you're like, well, I kind of like just putting it all in there.
Mike from Cox Business Support.
I don't really care about the whole doing it beforehand thing. I just want to put the stuff in. Let me get this. I'm trying to get all this cord put away and these needles, because if I'm going to poke something, it's going to be me, and I'm going to do it with my stuff. So give me a second while I put this all back in the jar here. I clean this out about once a year. Okay.
Hi, this is Mike with Cox Business
Stuff
Support.
everywhere.
Reference to Cox ticket number 3311.
Here we go. Okay.
6839.
All right, let me see. You like to see the outside spine again?
I see where your area has been having numerous issues with signal. I do see where our field technicians are also out there currently working to try to resolve that. We do not have a full estimated time of repair at this time. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. We're available 24/7 and can be reached at 1-844-800-0742. I thank you for using Cox Business Support.
Now, if this is a common size for you, by all means, keep this and write your dimensions on it and put it, put it in a file of all of them, if that's a pretty common size for you. Okay. I'm done poking things, so that's going to go up there. This can go over here. And now I'm going to get out my bits and pieces and parts and things. My journal cards. Pockets. Pocket. Tab. My pockets exploded. Bummer. Harry plays with stuff. We got in here. Okay, let's see. Any other things in there? Okay, don't see any other pockets. Paper. Cardstock. Okay. Yeah, my pockets exploded everywhere. Okay. Yeah, and if it is a size that you use frequently, then by all means, keep a template. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put this pocket on. I didn't fill my glue bottles. I'm bad. I said I was going to do that, and I didn't. All right, so let's talk about a wraparound. I don't think we've done one yet. Nope, let's do it. Okay, so when you're doing a wraparound piece, put your glue, your tape, whatever your adhesive is. Okay, then take this, put this side down first, where you want it. Okay, once you have that down, then wrap this back, because you don't want to have any interference here. And if you put it too close, when you go to fold this over, what happens is it bends the paper here, and you don't want to do that. So, all right, so now we have that on. This we're using as decoration, not as a tuck, okay? Because I just went ahead and glued the whole thing. So we're going to be using this part as decoration. So we're going to want to create like a cluster for it, like a decor for it. Doesn't have to be a cluster, but you know, that's kind of the norm. All right, and then we're going to measure the pocket that we have. And we're going to use what we have or create, if we need to, a new piece. So this one is 5 inches tall and about 3¼ inches wide. So I'm going to look in my pack of journal cards and stuff. And I'm looking for something that's about 5 by 3½. That's going to be too wide. That is not going to be tall enough. Not going to be tall enough. Not wide enough. So I'm going to have to create a card for this. Okay. So I'm going to start by cutting my base, which is 5 by 3½, but I want it to come out a little bit at the top, so 5½ by 3½. That's what I'm going to cut this to. Can I use a pre-made tag out of my tag box? Absolutely. If it, you know, is the right size, then I will use it for sure. Normally, I don't recommend cutting on your journal, but I don't have a lot of space right now. So 3½. 5½. I'm going to do a dry fit here and see if this fits, because if it does, then I can work from that. No. Let's try 3¼ Nope. 3. Okay. Height is pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way now. I can. We're going to work on this. Let me cover this back up. Put a pin in the glue or it dries all up. And then I'm going to get out my paper. And we're going to figure out, you know, what piece we want to use. I don't know what the obsession is with the map. Maybe he's traveling. I don't know. I'm going to use this one. Okay, so 5 1/4, which is what I think this is. It's like 5½, so we'll go 5 1/4. And this was 3, so 2 3/4. And that fits on there. We're going to make this a tag. So there and there. I'm going to put some washi tape on here. All right, so we're going to add some washi tape. Because I'm going to glue this down, I'm not worried about gluing the washi tape. To the front because it's going to be glued on. Okay, so we'll do that. And then I want to have something flat to put on the front. I'm going to come over here and get my flats. We'll take a look. What do we put? That one's cool. Now, you'll notice I didn't pull everything out of that bag because I don't want to be sitting here with 900 pieces going, what should I do? What should I do? I just pulled a few, okay? Never taking everything. Now, if I absolutely cannot find anything that works, then by all means, go back in, grab another handful, bring it out, okay? This is not, I already know what I'm using, but now there's some word phrases here I might want to use. I don't know. This is a fierce, bad rabbit. It would be rubbed of some of it would be it would have rubbed off. I don't know. No idea. These little snippets were so small and I couldn't make them any bigger without screwing it up. Okay, so I already know what I'm going to use. I'm going to use this piece right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put those away. Get them out of my face.
Mike from Cox Business Support.
All right, so now I'm going to trim this up a little bit more even. I might even do some scissor work here. We're going to ink.
Hi, this is Mike with Cox Business Support, calling in reference to Cox ticket number 33117920. This message is for Kyle. I was hoping to talk to you about this. Seeing that modem is still currently offline. We did advise them about the ALG being off by default. Was curious to find out how things
All
are
right, so we're
going.
gonna put this
If
on.
you've had a chance to check layer one on that modem. If and when you get the opportunity, if you'd be so kind as to give us a call back.
And I'm gonna put some glue in my bottles
We can be reached
when we're done here,
24/7 at 1-844-800-0742.
because I have work to do today.
I thank Music Box Business Support. Have a fantastic day now.
I'll put that on there. That way. Okay. And let's see, do I want to put any other washi tape on here? No. No, no, no. Now, I'm going to ink this and I'm going to put it on there and we'll put it in the thing. Let's. All right, so if you haven't heard, our next journal is going to be the Titanic. And although not exclusively, we are featuring Marjorie's Titanic set from her shop. And then I have some bits and pieces of ephemera that I've collected from different sources. Let's see if the big glue bottle wants to work, because that would make life a little bit easier if more glue came, you know? Glue booger. Got it. I got the glue booger out. All right. They're opening a new Savers in Vegas.
Where?
Back where they took the other one away.
Oh.
They just moved it down the street. So after 2020, they didn't reopen one of the shops here in town, one of the Savers. And so there was like this whole section of Vegas that didn't have one. And now they are opening it up. New location, same street, just in a different store. Because now that they've decided to reopen it, just a couple of months ago, they put in a new business in their old shop, so they couldn't get in there anymore. Okay. So we have that. Put it in the pocket. Am I tired of ships? No, not really. All right, so this one's going to go in there. Now we have that full page to write on. We've still decorated the page to be real, but we have like the full page. I'm going to put a little bit of something on the corner here. And we're going to call this one done. Oh, you're kidding me. Come on. Work, glue. So now again, because this is already stitched in, I don't want to get too close to the edge. So I'm going to come over a little bit. All right, let's see. Now we're going to add somewhere, and I'm thinking probably maybe this page. I'm going to put a tab. And I can't do it here, although I'd like to. We forgot to decorate that page. Okay. We could do it here. But I'm going to use a different one. But I am going to add a tab over here because as I'm looking at this, it needs a tab. Okay. Needs a tab. All right. So now we have like a flip out. Again, you could put a tab here that shows that this flips out. It's entirely up to you. But most people are going to be able to see that. Okay. I am going to ink both sides of this tab, this tag, because you see both sides of it. And once we put the piece through it, So we're going to go ahead and put that in there. And then we're going to flip the page. Now, we've created this and we've made it a piece of decor. Do I know about the Bob Laser story? In Area 51? No, I have no idea. I don't pay attention to Area 51. I've driven on the extraterrestrial highway to go camping. Not on the extraterrestrial highway, but I needed to go there. All right, so now we need something here. And I don't want it to be too big because I don't want it to, like this is okay because it kind of goes down and across. That would work. Something like this would definitely work. We have this, which has the carrots on it. I think we could use it as a tuck because this is just, no, that's a paper clip. We're going to use that as a paper clip. Okay, let's see. What else? But generally, we want to take this and kind of turn it into this, But we have this beautiful edge we want to preserve. So we may come in with unused pieces. I'm pulling out all the rickrack. All right, now that I got the rickrack out, here we go. All right, so I have some little stamps, a couple of those. That. I kind of honestly think I like this part here the best. So that's what we're going with. Its first knee-jerk response is I like this. So I'm going to ink it and put it down and see if I still like it. And if I do, then I'll glue it on there and be done. Now, at the beginning, this is not very difficult because it's, but as you go through this and it's already tagged in, you're going to find that it actually gets more difficult because if you need to put stuff down or do any stamping or anything, you're going to have to figure out how to make that surface flat because it's not going to be flat. Okay. Out. Go. Do I have to glue this down? No, I could put a dot under it if I wanted to and make it stand out. But I don't see any reason to do that. There. And then we have this paper clip that we did, which I think we'll put over here. It's more of a clip-on than a paper clip. But we have that. And then we're just going to glue this one down. So by doing our ephemera in advance, we actually make it a little easier to do the book once, you get started on it. But I really want you guys to practice stitching. And we're going to come back to that before we end here. I'm just kind of working a few pages just to show you guys that there is a bit of a difference here in that I'm keeping a nice, about 1/8 of an inch on either side here, 1/4 of an inch on either side here without going into the center because I don't want to disturb that. I'll have to finish this clip later. It's not finished. So I'm going to put this to the side. We're going to get this stuff cleared out of the way. And you can see I'm working from 4 distinct things: journal cards and tags, extra loose pieces, pre-made ephemera, pockets. I have it all separated so that it's not in my face, guys. All right, so now, for anybody who was not here at the beginning, we're going to do this again. So I am going to get out my scrap, which is my faux spine. My thread and my needle. You're going to want your pokey mat, your pokey tool. We're using this as our spine, but make sure that you have your template to do this, okay? So for this, you're going to need, because obviously this is probably not the same size as your spine. So what you want to do is fold it in half, fold your ends down about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, then fold those into the center. And that's going to give you your 5 holes. Then just go down the middle and just poke your 5 holes. All right. So that you have a piece that has 5 holes in it. I know somebody who worked at Area 51. No big deal. All right. So the other thing you're going to want is some kind of a clip or, I don't know, a button, something that you can use to stop the thread from going through the middle. Okay. So you're going to make your first stitch. It's traditional to start in the middle, but you can start anywhere that you want. And then I'm going to put a clip on that just so it doesn't come through. And then it doesn't matter if you go up or down on the outside of your spine. You are just going to go up to the next available hole. Not even available, just the next hole. And then again to the next hole. You're going to come back to the next hole down and then back into the original hole for your first set of stitching. And what you end up with, if you looked through your spine, would be this figure 8. Okay. That is what you're looking for at the top. Okay. So once you have that, you're going to go the other way. So you came out here, so you're going to go back in here. Back in here. And then back here. And then to create this bottom figure 8, this thread is going to go underneath these two. Okay. So that it looks like that. So you have a figure 8 and then a figure 8. All right. And then when you pull all this tight, you are not pulling against the book. You're going to pull against the strings against each other. Okay. So put your stitches in nice and tight. And then pull these two strings against each other and put in a square knot. All right. All right. Now, for anybody who needs it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to write these out. Piece of paper. No, we don't want that. Here we go. Okay, in the order. Yes, darling, I do. Okay, so starting in the middle, you're going to go 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. That's it. Okay, watch. First stitch goes into 3. Comes up in 2. Back down in 1. Then we're going to count the other way. We're going to go 2, 3, up in 4, down in 5, back up in 4. Okay? It's a little repetition. Exactly. You know, when you do it, like I said, it's a muscle memory thing. But if the numbers help, do that. Mark your paper 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then start at 3, 2, 1, and then count the other day 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back to 4. And then just do your little hooky do. Pull against each other. Done. Tie it off. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Done. Okay? Write that down if you need to. Write it down on your scrap piece that you've been practicing on. Put the numbers right there. I find that after a while, you just know. You automatically know which way to go. You're not questioning where, you know. And I've taught this to a lot of people who at first were like, no. And then they got it. So once you have your holes in your spine, just count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the top to the bottom and use this pattern. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Okay. What color wax thread do you need, Patty Ann? And do you like need a whole roll or just a spool, or because I do these in the shop, you know, these spools like this. There's enough on there to do 2 journals, 2 average journals. But let me know what color you need and I'll let you know if I have it. All right. So homework. Creamy or gray, a whole roll. I will look. Okay. Your homework is to stitch in at least one of your signatures. Okay. At least one. Start with the one at the back first. It makes life easier. Okay. Let's talk about that real quick one more time. You have your piece that has the lines on it that says top and it's got AB. Turn it over and reverse your letters. BA, it goes to the outside of your cover. Okay. Put it on, poke your holes. Then take this, fold it the correct way. Your signatures. Do the B side first. Make sure you put your lines top and bottom of your paper so that you know where your signatures need to be as far as height and where your holes are going to be. Keep this as folded as possible with clips on both sides. Poke through it. Then you can stitch this one in. Then do the exact same thing with the other one. Again, making sure that that line is on the edge of your paper, top and bottom. Poke the holes. This is inside the signature. Here's the signature. This center page, whatever that may be. This is this one. Put it in as far down as you can. Hold it down there. Oh my God, these are the same size. And then go in here and poke your holes, trying to keep the sides as up as possible. Poke your holes. Make sure you keep this marked so that you know which signature it is. Look for stupid stuff. I'm going to tell you. You want to make sure that the top of your thing is at the top of your page. Here's a stupid thing. I have this page in here. It's like a ledger page. I had it in here just like this. This is the top, and I was going to poke the holes. Here's the thing. Look at the numbers. This is the top. So my holes would have been off if I was really punching this, okay? So put it in there, punch your holes, then add it to your journal, then do the other one, okay? You don't have to write these numbers down. You can, but you don't have to put them on your spine. Just keep it in your mind. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5. Turn it over. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5. Okay? Stitch in your pieces. Let me put this at the top. Stitch in your signature pieces. Keep them together. That's why you want to put the clips on them, okay? To keep them together and keep this as upright as you can so that your paper doesn't spread, doesn't come up and rise and change position. And put it in. So that's your homework. Get at least one signature in your journal. One, you can do it. I have great faith in you. I have more faith in you than you think. Put in one signature. This first signature, at least one of your signatures should have been completed by now. If it's not, keep working. Remember our techniques. When you have your stuff on your table and you're working, keep the things that you're working with out of sight, out of mind. Put it in a box that you can move out of your way. Come in, pick that one thing, then work your way through. You want to, biggest part on any page is a pocket. So if you're going to put a pocket on it, determine what pocket you're going to put on. Okay? Obviously, if you put on a pocket, then you're going to have to do some kind of journal card or tag or some kind of tuck in, something you can put into the pocket or, you know, tuck in there somehow. So that's your second part. Your third piece is then your ephemera. What piece of ephemera am I going to add on here just to make the page pretty? Okay. So there is a step, a process to it. Pockets, tags and journal cards, then pretties. Okay. From there, you can decide things like, do I need to put a tab on this page? When you're putting your pocket down, ask yourself, am I going to use washi tape? If you are, get the washi tape on there. That's part of putting the placement of things. But if you don't get it on there before you move on, don't freak out. If you go at the very last, you go, oh, wow, this would look great with this washi tape. It's okay. Put that freaking washi tape where you can and use the edge of your scissors or a craft knife or whatever, and just trim it at the edge and call it a day. Don't freak out. Keep this stuff out of sight, out of mind, so that you're not craft overload. Okay. You guys have seen me like be on the struggle bus. Okay. So these are your techniques. Use them. Containers that you can get out of your face, covering items up, only having one type of item at a time visible on your desk. These are my pockets. They're in an envelope, in a file folder, so that I can open this up, look at the page that I'm looking at, find what pocket I want to do. Do I want to do step pockets? Do I want a little side pocket? Do I want to do this over the top thing? That's kind of cool. Do I want to do a big old flippy pocket thing? Big old flippy. No, here's a little stacky pocket. That would be cute. Maybe just a little bottom pocket. Just looking at your pockets. That's all you really need to look at this point. At first, decide what pocket you want to use. Pull it out. Get this crap out of your face. It's gone. Now, I have my piece. I didn't even look at what page I'm working. Okay, this page. So, no, I wouldn't use this pocket. Sorry. This one would be better because that blue would clash. Do I want to fold these down? Or do I want to make the pocket gusseted or not? To gusset the pocket, you can use your scoreboard. You can use a scoring tool and a ruler. Just put it on.
Chill.
Go over it once or twice. A couple of light ones is always better than one big deep one, Fold them back. Again, if you don't have a scoreboard, you could just fold this on the edge of your ruler too. Okay. So there's my pocket, ink. This is why we use a dry fit technique. Watch. So I'm going to put this here and I'm going to put this pocket here. Do I want washi tape? Do I want washi tape? Yeah, I kind of do. What kind of washi tape do I want? I don't know. Maybe I want this. It's kind of cute. But I want it to go across the bottom of the page. So get my washi tape. Make sure I have enough to put across the bottom of my page. Run my glue stick on the back of it, or, glue on the page, whatever you want to use, however you want to do this. I don't have a lot of uses for glue stick, but some very particular glue sticks work really well. Blick works really well, and Scotch Permanent works really well. I'm going to put this down. Take off my ends. Remember, I'm working in the seam here, so I want to make sure that I leave just a little bit of space so that if stuff shifts around, it's not going to get damaged, okay? Icky stickies. Take that off. Now I can look at my pocket and go, yeah, now this works. Now I can glue this down. Burnish my folds, get it as flat as possible. Now I'm going to glue this down. Now, what's out of my face? I am not looking at tags or journal cards. I am not looking at ephemera at this point. The only thing that I am concerned with is getting this on the page. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Give it a second to dry. Now, I did use one of those little no paper clips up here. So I'm going to need to decorate this end. So I'm going to look at that too. But for now, we've got this. We're going to measure.
Hey, Shane, this is Mike.
This particular pocket is
How you doing today, kind sir?
About 3 by...
Hey, buddy, listen, I got your
3.5, 3 by 4. So now
9524517.
I'm going to get my journal cards and tags and things out because now I can look at these. Now I'm at that point.
Frame relax. Oh, go ahead.
Well, that fits pretty good. That would fit. Too small. Too small. What is this one? That one's kind of tall for there, so probably not something I want to use. Too wide. Too wide.
Okay.
All right, we're going with this one because it fits and I don't feel like making another one. Okay. Now I'm going to get these out of my face. I don't want to see them. Now we're going to bring out our ephemera. Open this up.
Yeah.
And we're going to start looking at what we want to put on this page.
The outage was resolved earlier this morning. They said something about having worked with Lumen and they isolated the incrementing.
I'm going to put this on here.
On a MUX port in a mobile within the Lumen network. They rebooted the card and the errors cleared. So I'm assuming at this point that you have had no errors since this morning. We got no message from you guys.
I want you guys to watch this video back as often as you need to. All the videos in this series. Watch them back as often as you need to. Come back to this.
Yeah.
Until you get comfortable doing all of these processes. Now, do I want to add something else to this? Because I have this that, yes, you can move this around and you can probably take it off and you're going to use it for other things. Do I want to move it? Do I want to use it and have something else? No, I'd rather have the writing space. So for me, this page, other than poking a hole, putting an eyelet in here and adding, it's done. Now, get rid of this again. And you go back to the beginning process. Do I want to put a pocket on here? If I do want to put a pocket, what pocket do I want to use? Do I want to add a journaling card? Do I want to just add a piece of ephemera, call this writing page, and move on? Okay? Work through it one page at a time and do it in steps. Otherwise, keep your stuff out of your sight.
Okay, so let's see. Auto close then on Monday afternoon.
The cluster class is going to be fun.
Right.
Because I will tell you, the clusters, you use clusters for just about everything. Like, just about every piece of ephemera that you do technically is a cluster, no matter how you put it together. So learning to do them and being comfortable with them, I think, is a big part of, and that was my thing. Like, I could not get my head around the fact that this was just something I did on the daily. I just didn't realize I was doing it. And so I got very stressed about it. But once I started doing it, I went, wait a minute, I do this all the time. It's no big deal. Okay. So this is your stitch pattern. It is 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. That's it. Okay. You got this, guys. There's like 40 of them. I'm sorry. Okay, so for this class, next week is technically the last week of this class. And when we come back next week, whether you're done or not, because you can work on that, we're going to be talking about your covers, your closures, whatever cover art you want to put on it. We're going to be adding some cover decoration. We're going to be adding a closure. We're going to talk about those things. So some of the things you're going to want: lace, ribbon, or elastic. Any tools that you may require. So if you're going to poke a hole, you need to have a hole punch, that kind of thing. Something to put on the cover that tells what this journal is about. Honey, did you have the oven on?
I do.
It's hotter than hell in here.
I am sorry.
I'm
making biscuits.
And then you're going to want to have, like, your lace or other cover decorations. So really just anything that you think will work on your cover, and it doesn't have to be over the top. I will tell you that one of the things I use more often than not for a journal cover, to a closure, I'll show you. I got one right over here. Not in the color I would use, but not for this book. I wouldn't use this color for this. These giant hair bands, the hair elastics, these are a perfect closure for a journal, especially if you're not experienced with making closures. Okay. You can pick these up at Dollar Tree. I think they're like a 3-pack for $1.25. And sometimes you can get them with like gold in there and, or like stripes and stuff. So they're kind of fun. So next week is going to be the last meeting of this class. I so appreciate you guys coming through this with me and giving me your feedback and letting me know, where changes needed to be made and what little alterations we needed to do. So that is that. We will be starting a Cluster 101, and that class is going to start probably the second week of September, first or second week of September. That is only 5-week class. There's no double weeks on this one, because it's basically what we did in 1 week that we had to end up breaking out to 2 weeks in the journal making class. We're going to break it down into 5 weeks in the cluster class. Okay. I am going to demystify the clusters for you. Okay. There is a could you open, please? Why are you being such a pain in the butt? There we go. My computer's being a pain today. There is a link for to go to Marjorie's shop. It's a $2.99, but for the inaugural run of this, if you use the code BMA001, you get it for half off, which is about $1.50. And it is a 10-page layout of pages specifically designed to make clusters. Okay. And this 10-page set, the colors all work together. Yes, it's very neutral, but we did that for a reason. And that was so that everything blended together well. It is 10 pages. You can print this for yourself. If you buy it and you don't have a printer and you would like to get it printed, just cover the shipping. I'll print it for you and then, ship it to you. I think it's like $2 for the shipping. So, but that is the cluster class. If you would like a copy of the syllabus for it, it is now complete, the syllabus itself. So that is a link to my Google Docs where you can find the syllabus for this class. You do not need to have to buy the cluster digital. You can use whatever you have. So if you have a box like this, you know, that's full of little bits and pieces and stuff, you can certainly use this. But if you want to use the one for the class, you can get that. I hate this box. I got to get a different one. You can get that from Marjorie over at her Etsy shop. By the way, her code will work on anything in the shop, so you can get some really great stuff. And her kits are huge. They are huge kits for relatively low cost. Okay. So do that. I will be here tonight for mixed media unless my head explodes. And then tomorrow we'll have our game. And then we'll have Monday mixed media mini morsels on Monday. And there's an embossing basics class on the 19th. I don't know if there's anything upcoming. Let me see. Let me go to my studio real quick. I'll tell you if, which I just want to check to see what type of embossing it is. If it's It's heat embossing, so it is this kind of embossing that we did the other day to put the cover on our pirate journal. It is that kind of embossing as opposed to, running it through the machine kind of embossing, which there's a whole bunch of tips and tricks for that as well, but not what we're looking at. Okay. Ooh, let me see. Wow. Okay. I got to get I got to make some videos. I've only got videos through November. That's not going to work. I got to make some videos, guys. All right. On that note, if there's something that you think, like maybe, I don't know, you watched a video and you were like, okay, I don't get that. There's no, or maybe it's in metric and you need it in standard. Whatever the deal is, send me the video. If I do make a video out of it, I will send you the project. And of course, I will reference the original source if I can find them. And, it'll be good. You'll see. But if you'd like for me to do that, or you have like a question on something, like you're like, why doesn't this work? Or I've gotten somewhere, I only have 8.5 by 11 paper, or I only have 12-inch paper. I don't have 8.5 and 11. I don't want to waste all the paper. Can you change it out for me? And I'll do it. No big deal. Anything else? I think that's it. Yes, I believe we are. So go back and watch videos as you need to. We'll be here next week just to kind of go over covers and putting stuff together. Homework, though, get those signatures sewn into your book. Work it through. You guys will see it. Once you have it all together, it kind of goes a little bit faster. Once you've gotten through the first part, And now all the scary stuff is done. We made a cover, or upcycled the cover. We decorated put our covers first, like the cover on it. We made some pages. We made some ephemera. We made some pockets. We made some tags. We started putting stuff in there. You're in the home stretch now. Just keep putting stuff in. Okay? Yay. All right. So if you would like to have a copy of my schedule and know what's going on, you can do that here on the YouTube channel or over on my Facebook group, which you can find through the Cyberstalker Starter Kit link at the bottom of the page where it says more. Just click on that. It's coded. It says more, but what it really means is stalk me. It's like fragile and fragile. It means kick me. But go ahead and go down there and click on that. You're going to get all my socials, my email address, my Facebook group, all of that stuff. It's all down there. Go on down, get all those links. You can get a copy of the schedule there. Oh, anything else? That'll do it. All right. So Play in the rain, guys. Roll down a hill, lay in the grass. Look at clouds and see what you see. Be a little whimsical. It always youthens your soul, you know? Other than that, stay hydrated, stay well. I love you guys, and I will see you very, very soon. If you have any questions or anything on this, you can always reach out to me, okay? Bye, guys.